La Land Crafts. Today is December 1st and today we are starting 18 days of tutorials event on the La Land Crafts blog and also on our YouTube channel. We're doing a couple of things different this year. We are having our design team join in and they will be posting every day on our blog at lalalandcrafts.blogspot.com. I'll put the link in the description below for you. Each one of our design team members will create a project to share with you and the tutorial as well. It could be a video tutorial from them or it could be step-by-step photo tutorial. And I'll be doing some tutorials for you as well, so you can join in on our YouTube channel here. Make sure you subscribe so you'll get notification, and also we're going to do the giveaway, of course, and this year we're doing not one but three $50 gift certificate to our online store. To enter, you'll need to comment on my videos here and on our blog as well, and the more times you comment, the more entries into the giveaway you receive. Today I'm going to start with the tutorial on how to make this gorgeous vintage inspired gold and white Christmas card. If you know me, you know I love making gold and white cards. It's kind of my signature style. You can even say that, or I can even say that. All of the products that I'm using to make this card, all of the dies, are available in our online store at lalalandcrafts.com. I'll post all of the direct links in the video description below, as well as all of the measurements, so you don't have to write it down when you're watching the video. You can always go back and reference to the description there. I'm also going to use the stencil for embossing to create this snowflake background, and this beautiful gold paper and the chipboard are available on our website as well. So let's start with the tutorial. I have my card base here, and this is 5.5 by 11, scored in half at 5.5 to create the card base. I'll start with the layers inside of the card first. So I have my gold cardstock, layer of the gold cardstock, and a layer of white cardstock. Before I glue them together, I'm going to give a little embossed frame around the white layer, and this is also one of the things that I could say always do on the inside of the cards now. So I'm using my scoring board and I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch measurement, and I'm going to start about 1/8 of an inch from the top and stop at 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, and I'm going to turn it around and go all the way around to create the frame. For this card, actually, I don't need all the way around because we have a border on the bottom, so I'll just do 3 edges. So now you can see when I turn it around, it gives me embossed edge, a frame-like edge there. And this just adds to the design of the card and creates almost the appearance of the extra layer. I'm going to simply glue these layers together. And then on the inside of my card. I'm going to make sure that the side that I didn't do my embossing is on the bottom of the card. I prefer the top fold because it just looks nicer when you put the card up. I think it just stands up nicer versus the sideways. But again, it's just your personal preference. Now to finish the inside of the card, I'm using this border, the fancy border, and I think it just creates the vintage look that I'm going for this card. You can also make this as a pocket. If you just put the glue on the sides and in the bottom and leave the top open, you'll be able to put a gift card of sorts or another layer, another little note Now I glued it, I think I glued it too shut here, but let me see, to give you an idea. So you can put something inside of it, like so. So this is done. Now I'm going to move on to the front of the card. I have my large gold layer, again the large white layer. They're the same size as the ones on the inside, and you'll find the measurements in the video description below. Now, before I glue the smaller square on, I'm going to use one of our stencils. Our stencils come in sets of 2, so this stencil is from the set called Snowy Hills. Our stencils are on the thicker side, they're 10 millimeters, so that allows us to do the embossing. I have my cuttle bag here. I'm using A plate, B plate. I have a rubber mat. I'm going to put my layer onto the rubber mat. Let me see if I can move it a little bit more. Here you go. My layer goes onto the rubber mat, and then I'm going to cover it with the stencil. Then my second B plate, and I'm going to run it through, and I usually go back just to give it a little bit of the deeper embossing there. So now when I remove the paper, you can see, I hope you can see, a really nice embossed detail here, like a snowflake, like falling like snowflakes. So now it's ready to go on. Onto my smaller gold layer. And now this panel I'm going to glue onto the larger one. So center it here. Perfect. So now the fun part. Now we're going to embellish it. First off, I have our mandala doily, and you can see how pretty and intricate it is. And I have die cut the circle from our double stitch circles. This is the largest size, and you can see how it fits perfectly behind. And now when I position my roof, position it over this triangle right here. This is for your reference if you're making this card. So the roof goes right there. And the reason I'm giving you all these reference points, because I already figured out the design and how everything will fit on there. So it might be easier for you if you decide to recreate this card. So this is done. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to make our sentiment bar right here. And I have stitched rectangle, and this one is from the pocket die. You might already have that. And the other piece we're going to use to embellish it, to make it a little bit more fancier, this little label right here. And this is from the book tab die. It comes with a set of 3. This is one of them. So first thing, we're going to stamp the sentiment here on the rectangle. And the sentiment to you and yours is from the background stamp set called Vintage Postcard. It's one of the new ones. I'm using brown ink to stamp the sentiment, again to go with our vintage kind of design here. I'm going to ink my stamp and stamp it right in the middle here. Perfect. Now this label, as you can see, not long enough to fit the way I want it to go on the card. So I'm going to simply cut it apart and glue it to the back of this stitched label, and you can pull as much as you want. You can use more of it there or less, however you prefer. So the simpler way to do it is to put adhesive on the back of the rectangle, and then you can use the decorative pieces on each side. So it really dresses it up. Really pretty. So now we're going to put it down flat onto the card here, and your reference point would be now where this triangle or this diamond shape, really not the triangle, is. We're going to cover it. So it's going to go down like this, like so. And again, we're just simply going to use our adhesive and position our sentiment right here, making sure it's centered and it's straight, like so. And the other things we have left are Christmas trees and the sleigh. So first I'm going to put the trees on. I have the larger one and the smaller one, and these are from the newer set as well, called Stitched Trees. And you can see they're pretty simple design, but they have this pretty stitching on them. I'm going to position my larger one, and they are standing right on the top of the label right there. And the smaller one. So the smaller one overlapping a little bit. Pretty. So now the last thing we have here is the sleigh, the vintage sleigh. And again, I have a die cut from chipboard and from the white cardstock, and I'm going to glue them. Glue the white on top of chipboard, and again, without offsetting, it just creates the effect that we are going for. I'm using adhesive with the precise tip, or what do you call it? It's really nice to use on the smaller pieces. And now my little horse is going to go right on top of the sentiment bar there. As you can see, this card is really fast to make once you have everything prepared. So if you still have to make some cards to send out this year, this would be really quick card to make, and it has really nice wow kind of effect, even though once you break the steps down, it's pretty simple to make. So you can see how by using chipboard, it really creates the scene and makes our roof and the horse with the sleigh stand out on the card. So now our front panel is done. Now it's time to put it onto the card. I already pre-cut foam. This is 3 milliliter foam, and I cut it just a little bit smaller than the size of my layer. And I find it easier to put adhesive onto the cardstock than the foam. So I'm going to first put it on the back of my main layer. So I'm going to just add adhesive here. And cover it with the foam. You can find this foam in the craft stores. It might be in the children craft section. And again, it's just a 3 milliliter foam. And now it's time to put on our card. Remember, we already have the inside, so make sure you open it and you see which side is top and bottom. And I'm going to kind of eyeball where my foam starts, and I'm going to add adhesive, create like a little square with the adhesive here. And this goes right in the center of the card. So now the last thing I would have to do just to add pearls in the centers right there. I added rhinestones on my first card, but I think the pearls will actually go better with the vintage effect. So if you're making the card, you can decide and choose which way you want to go. So that's the tutorial for today. A reminder to enter into the giveaway for the 3 of the $50 gift certificate to our online store. Don't forget to comment on the video and also go on our blog, and there's a tutorial from Martha Tucker there today, and Martha will show you how to make a gorgeous box that you can use for Christmas gifts. So make sure you take a look at that, comment on Martha's post on our blog, comment on this video, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.